Hey everybody, it's been, I don't know, quite a few months since I made a video, and I'm hoping you can hear me pretty good. It's raining pretty good out here. I figured I'd kind of do a homestead update kind of video. I've had so much going on here lately. I haven't posted anything. I haven't really had much of, I guess you can say, inspiration. But I figured I'd finally make a video. Hopefully this one will be alright. As you can tell from my other videos, I'm in a different place than I usually am, but I'll kind of show you what I'm talking about. As you can tell, it's raining pretty good. Here's my light. I built this back in May. It wasn't too terribly expensive or hard to do, but it was under $2,000 to build this whole thing, and for the most part I done it myself. I'm no carpenter, construction guy by no means, but I had some help, you know, sliding the tin up on the top and everything like that, but about everything else I done myself. But I don't think I have too bad of a setup. Before, I mean, I had the tractor kind of out in the weather. The mower's been out in the weather since I've had it. Four-wheeler, I mean, it's all been kind of sitting out. The four-wheeler I did have in the wood shed, and I'll show you it. You kind of see it. I've got quite a bit of wood stacked in there. Where I did have it in the wood shed, where it was parked, I didn't have a whole lot of room to stack wood. And I've been trying to get, you know, about 2 years ahead on my wood, and I wasn't really able to do that with the four-wheeler sitting in there. So turn back around at here. I figured that I'd spend a little money and put a shed in. I think it's been worth every penny. It keeps all my equipment, all my chainsaws, all my weed eaters, my tractor, mower, four-wheeler, every bit of it out of the weather. I mean, this stuff sitting out in the weather over time, it wears it down. I know in my tractor review video, my seat was starting to crack on the tractor, and now it's pretty well falling apart. I mean, it's gonna definitely have to be replaced, but that's more or less, I mean, that's my own fault. Nothing to do with the manufacturer. So but I built this when I had a little extra time. The lights that I showed, they are LED. I bought them off of Amazon. They're LED, solar powered lights. They charge up in the day. I have them set to motion sensor. You can turn them on full time until the battery starts running low or whatever, and then they'll cut down the motion sensor. But I don't remember how much I paid for them. They might be $30, $40 each, so they should work pretty good. I've got those set up that way if I do lose power or something, I can still come to the shed. I've got my generator out here. I can get in the shed, get my generator, go get it hooked up and everything, and I'll have power again. So I can still, you know, be able to get in here and see what I'm doing. But I've been pretty busy this year. I've done my usual smaller garden that I usually grow green beans out of. My beans didn't do good at all this year. It was very hot and dry for the majority of the summer. The beans would come up and seem like they were doing pretty good, and it just kept staying real dry. They started turning yellow, and all my beans pretty well died off. There was one time and point that I could go out and get maybe a handful of beans at a time, and it wasn't even enough to do one meal out of, and within another week I might get another handful, but it never amounted to anything. My tater garden, it done really good. We're going to be digging taters here in the next few weeks or a month or so. So what little bit I've dug to do soup and stuff like that, just here and there, everything I've dug up looked really good. Some pretty good sized potatoes, so hopefully before long we'll get those dug. I'm going to wait a little while until it cools off. It's been in the 70s, so I'm kind of afraid to dig it too soon, and then they'll start rotting before cold weather gets here. So I'll get that done, but make a video on it. But I haven't had too many ideas on stuff to video. Most of the time when I've had the opportunity, I've been out on the tractor, I've been out working, whatever. I just didn't think to grab my camera, or I did grab my camera and the batteries wasn't charged, where I haven't been doing much videoing, didn't even think to charge them, so never really had the opportunity. If you'll notice in some of my videos, I've started posting, the majority of what I've got is Husqvarna equipment, and I've started posting some about Stihl. Well, I've bought a 131R Stihl string trimmer. It's a brush cutter. I've had a little bit of issues out of the Husqvarna, nothing major, nothing to really say that I'm making a brand change. But I do have a commercial grade Husqvarna 525 LST. I've got the original that it's had some fuel issues and stuff like that, and it's been fairly hard to start. So back in the spring I bought a 525 LST. It's the Mark II. Pretty much coming straight home, it done pretty good, but one, it doesn't seem like it revs up as high, but in really thick grass it seemed like it got bogged down a little easier. I wasn't a big fan of that, but I kept using it, and with each use it seemed to do a little better each time. But it's kind of been a slow working process, but by the end of this season, which it's September now, it does pretty decent. But I kind of got a little aggravated, and I went out and bought a Stihl, and I didn't realize it. It was called a 4 mix. Never heard of that. Never had Stihl weed eaters, Stihl equipment, nothing. So got it home. I realized it is a 4-stroke engine that runs off of mixed gas. You don't have to change the oil in it, just like typical 4-stroke engines. one maintenance thing you do have to do with it is change or adjust the valves on it, which from everything I've seen is pretty minor thing to do. But other than that, it runs off of mixed fuel. You don't have to have a small jug of just straight gas to run on it, so that's good. And it is probably the strongest, best weed eater for thick grass that I've ever used. It don't slow down, it don't let up. It still revs pretty high for a 4-stroke too. But it does very well. But kind of going along, I've always had Husqvarna chainsaws. With the chainsaws, I've got a 562 XP Husqvarna. It's an absolute beast. As long as the chain's sharp, it don't let up. But I've had some issues with the new auto tune feature that a lot of them have. And the only way you can adjust the carburetor yourself, but the only way that I can keep it running after I get it started is you have to keep patting the throttle, just on and on and on. As soon as you let off the throttle, it immediately starts dying, which is fairly simple to fix. You can take it to somebody, they can hook it to a computer, set it back to factory setting from what I've heard, and it's fairly easy to do. Shouldn't cost much to do it, but again, kind of a headache. I have a 445 Husqvarna chainsaw, which I kind of use. It was the first chainsaw I bought. It's lighter weight. It's about a 50cc. It does pretty good. It's not, a high-end saw, but it ain't the lowest end. It does pretty good for cutting some firewood and for limbing trees, stuff like that. It does all right. It comes with an 18-inch bar. Since I've had it, I've had some issues with it. It's pretty well, since I bought it, it slips the chain more than any chainsaw I've ever owned. Could be user error. I'm not 100% sure, but my other Husqvarna has never slipped the chain that much, ever. But I have put, I believe I put a new bar and a new chain on the 445. It still slips the chain. It don't do it as bad with everything new, but it still does it. So I figured that I would try out a Stihl chainsaw. Never had one. And I bought, I don't know, maybe a month and a half ago, I bought the Stihl. It is the MS291. It's a 55cc saw. It comes with a 20-inch bar. It's more or less a farm and ranch kind of saw. And I haven't used it a lot, maybe an hour or two at most. But so far it seems to be doing good. My reasoning, after coming through Helene, which it's been here in the next 3 days, it's been a year since Helene hit. I need equipment that's gonna be ready to go when the time comes. There are as many trees down that went down during Helene, I need equipment that works and it's ready to go. No, I'm not slamming Husqvarna, but I figured I'd try it out. Why not? That's pretty well how everybody gets their own brand. They start out with what they grew up with or what their parents used or whatever, and sometimes it changes, sometimes it don't. So, you know, the still may work for the next month or two and then be worse than Husqvarna. I don't know. We'll see. But that's what's been going on. I'm not saying that I'm making a brand change yet, but I may. Who knows? But as of now, I have a chainsaw that's operational. Say, which it's not supposed to, but say we hit a flash flood, we get some major wind damage, a lot of trees down here in the next week or so, I'll be ready to go. So, but that's kind of what's been going on. But going back to the woodshed, or not the woodshed, but the shed, this keeps all my equipment in the dry. I was putting the weed eaters, the chainsaws, and everything in the crawl space under the house, which works, but you go through a flood and get, you know, 20 to 30 inches of rain in 2 to 3 days, you're going to have quite a bit of water in the crawl space, more than likely. And I did. And my old Husqvarna weed eater, it was full of water. And every time that you would pull the cord on it, it would go to pushing water out of the intake. So I mean, that's not good on your equipment and everything else. I've had my weed eater, or my tractor out in the weather quite a bit. You know, it'll start fading the paint. It's just hard on it. So you spend that kind of money on equipment and tractors and stuff like that, you know, you want it to stay around, you want to keep it. So I'm hoping this will extend the life of the equipment, which it should, and it'll make it a little more convenient and everything, you know, getting the weed eaters, which I've got them, made my own little racks, got those hanging up. I need to make something for the chainsaws, because I've still got those on the ground, but the ground is dry, so it's not a have-to thing right now. But I think in the long term, the shed will pay for itself. I'm going to get some siding and get some siding put on it and everything, keep, you know, rain and wind and stuff and snow from blowing in. But another thing, turn the camera around, I've got a way rigged up, you know, to hang some deer from. It'll be a whole lot better. I can be in the dry, you know, if I'm out hunting or whatever, get a deer, I can stay in the shed for the most part and skin the deer out and be dry. And hopefully, if I can get some siding on, you know, stay out of the wind a little bit too. But we'll see. Get my camera fixed again. But that's what's been going on. The shed, it's nothing special. Done 4x4 post, 2x8 band board around the top and everything, 2x6 rafters or joist, whatever you want to call it. Done 1x4 stripping for the tin and put tin on it. I think it was about $1,900 to do, which isn't too bad. It's 16 foot by about 28 foot, I believe. So it's pretty good sized shed. I can't really complain. And I mean, this is kind of my little hangout place. I can come out here, relax. I mean, it's pouring the rain. It's dry as a bone. My dog ain't. My little Yorkie, she's soaking wet, but it's dry in here. I don't think I've got a bad setup at all. So Another thing, my gas jugs. You can see those right there. You know, if you ever have a plastic gas jug that sits out in the sun, with the heat, it swells, and as it cools off, it sucks in. So I can keep all my jugs in here, which I've started buying metal jugs, which should make a big difference. But I've got those sitting on a pallet, keep them out of the dirt, keep them from rusting. So that's a plus. But something else, during the flood, during Helene, I did buy a generator. I'll show you that. That's my generator. It's a Generac GT 6500 Power Rush. It's a decent sized generator. I wouldn't say it's, you know, something major, but so far it's been good. I've got a little over 44 hours on it. Today I actually changed oil in it, changed oil in the tractor as well. It wasn't ready for oil change in the tractor, but it's been a little longer than I wanted it to. I've got about 190 hours on the tractor, 188 actually. But I went ahead and changed oil in it. I've had the generator about a year, changed the break-in oil out of it, and it's been sitting. I've used it here and there when we've lost power, but I just decided to go ahead and change oil in it, so it's ready to go. The generator, I've never seen a use for a generator. Typically, you know, we've lost power for a day, maybe 2 days. So as long as you see a storm coming in, you know, you fill up the bathtub with some water, so you can bathe with. You have a little bit of drinking water. No biggie, right? Well, after Helene, you know, we lost power for 11 days, which pretty good while. Several in the community lost power for 20, 30, I think even a few 40 plus days, maybe even longer. That's a long time to go without running water, being able to flush your toilet, and so on. But after going through that, you know, we got on our 3rd day in, still didn't have running water. You know, another thing, you keep your freezer and your fridges closed, they should be all right, for the most part. And through Helene, I mean, I lost hundreds of pounds of beef, some deer meat, and we lost a lot of frozen food. And I did not expect to lose power that long. Never thought it'd happen. So on about our 3rd day without power, we actually went to Lowe's in Johnson City, Tennessee, and my dad got a generator, and I bought me a generator. It's awesome. We went and got everything we needed to make our own plug and put in a breaker and everything. I can plug the generator into the meter on the house, flip the main power off so it don't backfeed, and flip the generator breaker on, and I've got power. 6,500, it's nothing major, but I've got enough to run my pump and my water heater on, so I'll have hot water, we can take a shower, we have running water, and I can run my outlets, have LED lights in the house so I can have lights and everything like that. So during the flood, we did have lanterns and stuff like that, which It's light. You can't really complain. But, you know, when you have kids running around the house and everything, you kind of worry about a lantern getting knocked over, and then you get a lantern knocked over, and a lot of them are bad to leak. You'll have a fire pretty quick. So that was kind of in the back of my mind too. So nothing wrong with it if that's what you got. But you know, if you can have a generator, I think we give somewhere around $900 for the generator. It's been worth every penny. We run it several days, which, you know, trying to conserve gas at the time, it was cash only in town to get gas. Usually there were lines at the pump, so we got some jugs together and we would go over to Johnson City or Unicoi and fill up the gas jugs and bring them back, and, you know, get about 20 gallons of gas each or so. And that'd run you a pretty good while with the generator. But something else that I have purchased, I did get a four-wheeler. You know, we lost our driveway in the flood, and you know, it was about 2 days before I got the truck out, maybe 3. Couldn't get out of my driveway. It was gone. So the first day or so, you know, we were walking, and I could get over to my parents' house and my grandmother's and check on them and everything, but we were walking. And so I always wanted a four-wheeler, never could justify it. After the flood, I could definitely justify it. If I needed to, I could drive down through the creek, back up the other side. I can get where I need to go now. I think if we have another storm, hopefully it don't never happen again, but if we have another storm of that magnitude, I think I'm in better shape than what I was last September. So if you don't have one, it's no big deal. I mean, we was taking the tractor and riding around, getting where we needed to go and everything, but you know, a four-wheeler's a whole lot better, you know, better to work with. Four-wheel drive, you know, the roads wash out, whatever. I can get to where I need to go now. But that's kind of the update for now. We've got a year and a half, probably closer to 2 years worth of wood put up. It's dry. I've got the wood shed. We're ready to go for winter time, which winters ain't what they used to be, but you know, I'm pretty well ready to go. I got the generator if I lose power. Got the four-wheeler in case I need to travel. Can't get the truck across the driveway. I can find a place somewhere on the creek that I can get the four-wheeler down into and up the other side, and if need be, go to town. Hopefully it won't, you know, we won't have to go through a situation like that again, but if need be, I can do it. I won't have to fill up the bathtub full of water, you know. I've got the generator. I can hook it up and pretty well run. At least a few days until I run out of gas, and then I've got to find gas again. But that's kind of what's been going on. I bought me another deer rifle this year. Usually I have, what I usually hunt with is a, I think it's a Savage 308. Good rifle, you know, nothing real special about it. Have it sighted in. I've put a lot of deer in the freezer with it. But this year I kind of changed it up. I kind of wanted something a little nicer. No, I'm not going to take it through the woods just beating and banging around, but I got a Henry. It's a H009 30-30. I wanted a 30-30 for a long time, but I purchased a scope for it. I may do a video on it. before too long, but once I get all the parts I need. But I'm going to try to hunt with it a little bit this year. We'll see how it goes. I've got a bow, plenty of ammo. I've saved up a little bit of money and everything, put back some ammo. That way, you know, I'm set to go on that. That was another issue, dealing with the flood. We didn't have power, you know. A lot of our food was going bad, and before we got the generator, you know, we were kind of sharing a generator, and we'd run it a couple hours at my parents' house, run it a couple hours here to kind of keep things froze, but it still wasn't enough. And so, you know, I was honestly, if it comes down to it and it's survival, you know, I'm gonna hunt. I'm not gonna let everything in my freezer go bad, because I mean, you can't eat a freezer full of food within a few days, and then what are you gonna do after that? I was completely prepared to start hunting, so hopefully it won't come down to that, which we've got the generator now, so it's not that big of a deal. But you know, it's not a bad idea to put up a little bit of ammo and have some other guns, have different types of guns and different calibers of ammo. I've got quite a bit of 308, got a lot of 223, and I've got a decent amount of 30-30 now. So I have different options and I can hunt. I've got quite a bit of 22. There's a lot of squirrel around here, which you might be able to get a deer with a 22 if you absolutely had to, but it's not ideal. You know, 22 is good for squirrel hunting, stuff like that, and rabbit. But I think I'll go ahead and end the video. Yeah, I mean, just something else. Keep some extra gas. I've never seen the point in keeping extra gas. I always had, you know, 5-10 gallons at the most of gas put up, mainly for mowing. When the flood hit last year, I mean, I had probably 5 gallons and maybe half a tank in the mower, and we was siphoning it out. You know, it's always good to be prepared for worst case scenario. It's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. So that was kind of our situation to begin with, and luckily we were able to get gas pretty easily, but you know, we did have to drive across state lines to go get it, and if they, you know, shut the state line down, I don't know what we would have done. So, but I'll go ahead and end the video. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Please like, subscribe, comment, and thanks for watching.